Welcome to Talking Politics. I am Paul Gable. I'm here with my good friend and co-host John Bond Sr. Today we are hosting Horry County Coroner Robert Edge, and we have Horry Georgetown Technical College Professor Renee Causey, and we're going to talk about the opioid crisis in Horry County. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, Robert. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for bringing Renee. I'm glad that we can get deeper into what's going on with opioids in Horry County. And you're talking about your death rate's hanging about the same, isn't it?
Still is. You know, about 6 months ago we did this show and we talked about what we did in our office, and one of the main things was the opioid problem.
We were around the Christmas time when we did that, weren't we?
That's right, at the Surfside. You know, unfortunately our numbers are still holding the same, or maybe up just a little bit. We're still experiencing a lot of opioid deaths, and I'm hoping that maybe today we can talk about some ways to be preventive, maybe educate people to say no, do something to let's slow it down. We're on track to probably do 150 calls a year related to opioid deaths.
In Horry County.
In Horry County.
In Horry County. And Robin, you're doing a study for Horry and Georgetown counties, right?
That's correct.
If you will, explain to us a little bit about exactly what's going on with the study.
What the study is designed to do is actually assess both counties and see who is offering services in our area, and try to come up with a list of providers that are doing a great job with this. I mean, we have a lot of people that are working on the epidemic, but a lot of the services are fragmented. So one of the things that I will do at the end of the study is actually propose a plan to both counties as to how we can better coordinate these services.
That's wonderful, and that's what's needed, because, I mean, you know, you can have the same ailment, you go to 3 different doctors, you get 3 different solutions. We do need a coordinated, concentrated effort, I guess, not only on treatment, but also on how to help people get off of it and the whole routine, don't we?
Absolutely. I think that a continuum of services would be very beneficial in our area. So, you know, maybe at the beginning of the continuum, you would have the education piece that the coroner is speaking of, and then all the way at the end of the continuum, you'll have people who are in recovery who could potentially become peer educators and circle back around and help a DARE police officer in our schools, so that when young people are hearing about this issue, they're actually seeing someone who has been impacted by the
Well, how
epidemic.
does the coroner's department help in your study? What part do they play? What are you looking for specifically in your study with respect to the coroner's department?
Well, the coroner's been a great asset in terms of all the research that I've conducted so far. He's able to give me a count on, you know, how many fatalities we've had relative to the epidemic, and he's also able to outline the age groups and the age ranges and the demographics. So that helps us design a program that could help with prevention. If we know who's most impacted by this epidemic, we can go back and try to educate
So
that
statistically,
population.
they play an important role.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can see the number of opioid deaths that are coming through the department and what's causing them, and the range of individuals that are overdosing on it, right?
Absolutely.
The youth, the elderly persons, and so forth. So thus far, what does your study show?
Well, the study shows exactly what I was saying to Paul, that we need a coordination, better coordination.
Insofar as the coroner's office.
Well, it was one. You know, it was a blessing and a curse to visit the coroner the day I did that day.
Right.
Yeah, because he took me over to a morgue that a newly constructed morgue that he has, and there's nothing like standing in front of a morgue, and there's nothing like going inside of a morgue and seeing the bodies that are there of the people who have been impacted directly by this epidemic. And, you know, the coroner is the one who goes to the hospital and tries to save the organs if we can save them, and, you know, makes these recommendations for autopsies. And he has a very difficult job, and he does a great job at what he does.
Well, absolutely. He's been there for years.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's our hero, you know.
He's my hero, for sure.
John, I'd like to say, I go to a lot of calls, and the families don't realize that their kin people or their children or whoever has been through a rehab program and then slipped back. And maybe a way to educate these people on signs to look for.
That's true.
that's real detrimental to families, and I've had a lot of them like that who just didn't know that their child had slipped back into the drug world.
You got to find out the root cause. What's causing it? Why people that are addicted to it? Well, what satisfaction do they have by taking the opioids? Some people are doing it because they're in severe pain. Other people are doing it because they want to get on a high, etc. So you really have to study it. That's what your study is going to be about, I'm sure. We're going to be looking forward to hearing what it has to say. Studies are always important, especially in this area.
Well, you're funded. You said your funding is coming from Horry County government and from Georgetown County government, and I think you said Myrtle Beach and
several of the hospital systems have also participated,
who obviously are impacted in many different ways by the epidemic. This is probably a very unfair question, but I'm going to ask it.
Well, ask it anyway. Nothing stops you anyway, so go ahead, shoot.
Do you have any idea the number of addicts we have in Horry County?
I don't have an exact count on the number of addicts we have, but I will tell you this. I would be secured in saying that I think everybody knows someone who is directly impacted by opioid. I would say that everybody probably knows someone within their circle who is a heroin addict. I would feel confident to say that.
That's shocking, isn't it?
Well, I guess the solicitor plays an important role. The 15th Judicial District, the solicitor, we've been on the show twice already talking about opioids, and it doesn't seem that we get the handle on it because more and more you read, more and more you see, more and more that's occurring. As the coroner just said, it keeps increasing rather than decreasing, especially with all the money in the studies and the message we're sending out there. Somehow we're not connecting, and that's what you have to find out. Robert, what do you think? Why aren't we connecting to tell the people exactly, this is bad, don't do it?
I think people are in denial. They don't think that somebody in their family would use drugs or take pain pills, and that's where it all starts at. Some people just have that urge to have that high feeling, but I just think people are in denial. It's kind of like me when I ride by a donut shop. I'm in denial that some money.
Well, look, on that note, with donut shops, we have to take a break and let our sponsors talk, none of whom are donut shops, by the way.
God.
We'll be back in a moment.
Directly from the
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a server at Brothers Grill, and as a server here, I like to make sure everybody has amazing service and good fresh food every single day. We serve lunch and dinner from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., our happy hours from 4 to 7, and we're located on 5900 North Kings Highway. Follow us on Facebook at Brothers Grill Myrtle Beach.
Located at 1300 Highway 544 near Coastal Carolina University, Soho 544 is an area's favorite for sushi, hibachi, American and Asian fusion cuisine. Soho 544 also offers daily happy hour special for only $5, as well as some of the lowest beer and liquor prices along the Grand Strand. So don't wait, come and join us. Soho 544 also caters to large parties and special events.
My name is Angelo Antonucci, and I'd like to welcome you to my restaurant. I've been in Myrtle Beach now for over 30 years, and we are the home of the greatest steaks in the universe. Here at Angelo's, we have a fantastic Italian buffet with your favorite pastas served with meatballs and sausage and delicious gourmet pizzas. But where we really shine is our entrees like our scampi traditional, Alfredo or lemon romano served over linguine, our French pork chops with garlic mashed potatoes, and our twin fillets featuring our signature marsala sauce. It's a great place to enjoy with family and friends, so stop by and see us at our new location at the corner of 24th Avenue South and South Kings Highway. Don't just take my word for it. Come in and try Angelo's, home of the greatest steaks in the universe.
Here at Angelo's.
Well, you know, Robert was talking about donuts and avoiding donuts, and I know I like donuts too. But
I was just eating one.
But to think about it a minute, it strikes me, and I could be dead wrong, but it just strikes me that the intro into this, I can't imagine we have that many people in Horry County that are going out trying to find a heroin dealer because they want to shove a needle in their arm. Is a lot of it, or is at least a high percentage of it, introed from injury or pain and pain management, maybe over prescription and what have you, and then off we go. Am I right or wrong?
Well, I think you're right.
I think you're right to some degree. I mean, there is a huge segment of the population who have experienced pain, and they're in some pain management program where they may be receiving too many opioids by their doctor. But I think the coroner touched on something else that I don't think we should leave out, and it's going to be very difficult to address from what I can see in regards to study. There's a segment of denial out there, a group of people who just don't think it'll happen to them. I mean, if you cut on any television show right now, and I challenge people to do it, turn on your television, turn on your radio, and you're going to hear all the musicians singing about drugs. You're going to see all the shows are showing heroin and people using opioids, and then you have a group of young people who are watching these television shows, and even older people, and they're in denial. They don't think it'll happen to them. I mean, it's glamorized. So when I was growing up, I guess a large segment of the population was using marijuana. Today, the entry drug is heroin. I mean, you have
That's an entry drug?
Absolutely. I was interviewing 3 girls the other day. One of them being 20, another one being 14, another one being 16, and all 3 of them started using heroin in high school.
Is that right?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Did you know that, Robert?
That's true.
That's right, sure.
And look, when I was a kid, way back in the 50s and the early 60s.
Oh, that's way back.
It is. Not quite as way back as you, but way back.
I can't remember.
But look, at our time, at our time of growing up, there was a lot of underage drinking. And nobody ever thought anything could happen to them from that. That was kind of the entry-level problem, and
well, they
we have a lot of
graduated
alcoholics
from
today.
They graduated from drinking. They went into the.
Well, I'm not saying they ever graduated, John. They just graduated to drinking more.
The people are trying to get away from something. That's why they're taking this. They want to feel euphoric. They want to feel high. They're hiding something. They're under a great deal of pressure, whatever it may be. That's the root cause of what it is. You have to tackle that. And the same thing with the violence. Violence against women, violence against men, that plays an important part too, I would imagine, doesn't it?
I think so.
Are you studying that as well?
I'm not studying that as well, but anytime you introduce any type of substance into a home, there's going to be strains, financial strains that impact the family, and therefore there's going to be an increased level of stress, which can result in, some type of explosive situation occurring.
When the kids or anybody in that situation, when they see that bitter fighting and smacking a fight, that plays a role into why they want to escape.
I think everybody here has hit on something. I mean, if you're trying to escape, whether it be from physical pain, which can result in you visiting a doctor, or emotional pain because of something happening at home or something you're just trying to get away from, I think you're all exactly correct. You might seek some type of substance to make you feel better, whether it be a physical feeling or an emotional feeling.
Well, now you, excuse me, you're a professor of human services, you said at Horry Georgetown. So you are trying to find out, I would guess, correct me if I'm wrong, what is causing, what is the breakdown in our society that's this terrible need to go out and find highs by shoving needles in our arms and what have you.
7, wow.
I mean, there's
7 needles?
Well,
no, by shoving needles.
Oh, shoving. I thought you said
I know you got a cold and your hearing's not that great, but hang with us.
You don't enunciate correctly.
Oh, all right. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
I think a lot of family, there's a huge breakdown with the family component. I mean, you've got a lot of single parents that are working 2 and 3 jobs, are not home. You got a lot of latchkey kids that are being told to come home by themselves. You've got all the stuff going on in the media. When I was growing up, there was channels 3, 6, and 13, and they went off the air at 12 o'clock. Now you've got the internet, which is the World Wide Web. I mean, you've got technology, you've got telephones. I tell my students, anything you want to do in Horry County or Georgetown County or anywhere in the country tonight, you can find a group to do it with you. From drugs to church to murder. I mean, it exists. There's just people doing everything goes.
24 hours
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Everything goes.
It's interesting, when you go out to a scene where there's a death, where there's an accident, there's a possible death.
I don't think he goes out to scenes where there's living. Do you, Robert?
Yes, he does. Sure.
Well, there's some that are.
There are
but
some.
unfortunately,
They're not all
some that's
dead.
not.
Right, Robert? Sometimes you resurrect the dead into living.
Well, I've seen that
right?
occur a time or two.
You do that, right,
Yes,
Robert?
Especially what we have this drug that, especially in an overdose victim, may bring them back.
Narcan.
Yeah, that's it.
And that'll do it. And Narcan's used a lot this day and time. And it's probably keeping our death rate down tremendously, from what I'm hearing from the fire and police and EMS people who are administering that drug to people.
Well, you're involved in this because you see so much deaths through the opioid. And you're looking to solve some of the problems so we won't have as many occurring in Horry or Georgetown counties. And I guess the important thing for you to do, that you want to do, is you want to have some type of a program where you can educate the people. How do you go about doing that when people are just lazy and malaise and they don't want to come out, and they say, no, well, it's not my problem, it's someone else's problem, and then lo and behold, it's their problem. Now they see it first time. How do you get to them? How do you connect with them? I know we've been speaking about that for the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but still I just don't get that feeling that we're connecting for somehow.
I don't think that we get down to the level that these people are, and I'm going to use an example. We're dressed casual today. How about if I'd worn a suit and tie, and y'all were just dressed casual? It would mean that I'm telling myself to be a step above, you might say.
No, we would have made fun of you, Robert.
Well, that's good too.
If you're going to do that on a hot day like this, we'd have made fun of you.
But we need to connect. We need to connect with them, and try to get to them that way. Find a way to connect with them. Find out what they like to do in life and talk about things that are enjoyable. You've got to get their confidence. And once you get their confidence, then I think you can make some headway.
Well, I think the best thing that you show them is when you have a dead body that was caused by it. Well, that would be a beginning to showcase what can happen to you, and this is where you're going to end up. Right.
John's notion is scared straight, but look, we got to take a break.
Let me finish.
All right, finish your.
So how are you going to connect now? He's stopping me.
Yeah.
See, every time I'm beginning to
back to our sponsors, and we'll be back.
That's what we do in this show. We stop at the important point.
John, we've stopped talking.
Okay, go ahead, go.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a server at Brothers Grill, and as a server here, I like to make sure everybody has amazing service and good fresh food every single day. We serve lunch and dinner from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., our happy hours from 4 to 7, and we're located on 5900 North Kings Highway. Follow us on Facebook at Brothers Grill Myrtle Beach.
My name is Angelo Antonucci, and I'd like to welcome you to my restaurant. I've been in Myrtle Beach now for over 30 years, and we are the home of the greatest steaks in the universe. Here at Angelo's, we have a fantastic Italian buffet with your favorite pastas served with meatballs and sausage and delicious gourmet pizzas. But where we really shine is our entrees like our scampi traditional, Alfredo or lemon romano served over linguine, our French pork chops with garlic mashed potatoes, and our twin fillets featuring our signature marsala sauce. It's a great place to enjoy with family and friends, so stop by and see us at our new location at the corner of 24th Avenue South and South Kings Highway. Don't just take my word for it. Come in and try Angelo's, home of the greatest steaks in the universe.
Here at Angelo's.
welcome back. Well, Robert, you had something you wanted to put in, and then we're going to go to Renee.
You know, we talked about some strenuous methods or ways to get the message across, and I was just thinking, I go to a death call and it's a drug overdose. The police come in and do their thing. They take photographs and all that, and we get ready to remove the remains from the home, and the family wants to see them. So we arrange for them to see them, but there's a disconnect there. It might hit just a couple there, but the people in the community are not getting the message. Our family members who are outlined, maybe not brothers or sisters, but cousins or things like that. We've got to connect better than what we're doing, especially when they look at that body and see there's no breath coming out of it. So,
Renee, do you want to add to that?
No, I totally agree with the coroner. I think I agree. It's a powerful. A lot of people are hearing, that individuals died from suicide, but why did they kill themselves? I mean, there's a lot of suicides that could be related to opioids because people just can't get off of them. I've talked to several individuals during this study that are living in halfway houses. Some of them have broken their own fingers to get opioids. Some of them have taken knives and stabbed them in their stomachs, to try to get pain pills because this is a drug unlike any other. And I think that one of the key things that we have to do is learn this drug. I mean, this heroin and opioids are a different kind of drug. It's a different kind of animal, and there has to be all hands on deck, a different type of response.
A lot of the law enforcement is stressed out over it, aren't they? Like you were talking about before when we were off camera about the solicitor's office, the police department, etc.
Yeah, one of the wonderful things about our community is that everyone has been extremely welcoming when I come out. Probably the shortest interview I've done has been 1 hour, but most of my interviews are 4 and 5 hours. I spent maybe 3 or 4 hours with the coroner the first time I met with him, and this is because people are welcoming someone to come in so that they can talk about this. I mean, you have law enforcement. I was speaking to the chief of police in Myrtle Beach, and she was like, "We are enforcers, but we're having to do detox in the jails." You've got halfway houses who should be on the end of this thing, but they're at the beginning as well trying to do detox. You got hospitals where people are coming in and they want pain pills, so they're pretending like they're suicidal. So you've got the people who are addicted to this drug trying to seek out help on in every venue that they can, and then you've got just people they can't get back to focusing on their own level of expertise because they're just trying to handle the entire epidemic. So I think the key is when we put a full continuum in place, a continuum of services where everybody can get back to doing exactly what they're supposed to do, focusing on their level of expertise, putting a huge education component in there as the coroners highlighted, I think we will start to see some different results.
Well, let me ask you this. When do you anticipate, you presenting, because I guess what you're going to do is you're going to present it to the different governments that are involved in the funding and probably the hospitals too. When do you and I'm not trying to rush or anything.
No. Well, actually, a couple of days ago, I met with the mayor of Myrtle Beach and the city manager there and one of the council members, and I will be presenting at their fall retreat. But I'm finalizing the report at this time. So we kind of have a good idea of what, I kind of have a good idea of what's going to be proposed.
But how do you get to the source? How do you get to the people that are using it in your study? How do you choose them? How do you find them?
Well, we're trying to, like the coroner said, we're trying to hit all areas of the continuum. So, for example,
how do you get them?
we would love to be in the schools. We would love to be in the schools with DARE police officers.
You'd love to be in the schools. Aren't you in the schools?
There's a couple of DARE police officers in Myrtle Beach schools. They're not in all the schools, but we need that. We would like to have peer educators, which are people who are in recovery. So that they can be standing in front of these young people and saying, this is what happened to me. Get parents involved who have lost young people and see if they can't talk to other parents. Like the coroner mentioned, we need to make sure that people understand the signs. I mean, one of the big causes of death, which I'm sure the coroner can attest to, is that the respiratory system just shuts down. I mean, you think your child's gone to bed and they go to sleep.
You take so much and it just slows you completely down until it stops.
Yeah,
right?
And the coroner can speak more on that, but a lot of people may say, my child just stopped breathing, and they are not aware that, no, your child relapsed and they took an overdose and they did stop breathing, but it was as a result of this drug. So I think, just a lot of people just don't think it's going to happen to them. A lot of people don't think it is happening to them, and it's happening every day, and it's happening everywhere.
Right there.
So when you make your recommendation, you like you said, you're going to go to the fall budget retreat at Myrtle Beach, and of course, we'll be dealing with budgets next, and I would assume if we're going to institute some type of something, I hesitate to even call it a program, but it'll go into the next budget year.
Is just Horry County, or is it Georgia?
It's Horry and Georgetown County. And again, one of the most wonderful things that I've found from the study, besides the depressing statistics and hearing the how bad everything is that we have a wonderful community. I mean, Representative Fry has been on this since the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've got a lot, the solicitor's very involved in this. He's got a great program.
We've been trying to get Fry on the program to talk about this, and he just keeps avoiding us. I don't know why.
Well, he is a very big advocate with regard to this.
I know he is, and that's why.
But you mentioned something too about education and getting into schools and what have you. I know that's important. But my God, how do we get to the people that are beyond that already getting into it?
Yeah, almost everybody needs education, actually. Not just the young people, but the law enforcement needs education about this drug. I mean, parents need education, and parents also need education so that they can recognize when their young people are on it or their children are on it. So it's just, when you put that continuum in place, for example, I mean, I would not be opposed to having something linked to before children can get their working papers to work in the summer, maybe you need to get some education. Before you can get your driver's permit, perhaps you need to get some education. I mean, these are some creative legislative changes that could be done that could enforce legislation.
Have you spoken to Superintendent of School Maxie?
I have not talked.
Or the new up and coming chairman of the school board?
Well, Mr. Richardson is involved in Horry Georgetown Technical College. He's one of our commissioners. Yeah, so we're looking forward to having conversations with him and Mr. Maxey. You know, and the school systems are stretched in their own right, but this could very easily be connected to a health course, to recreation. If you want to play football, maybe you need to have education. So
actually, if you want to play football, you do, because I mean, you get hurt playing football, and prescriptions go towards pain management to football players, and more than they do to basketball or baseball players, because of the injuries are more.
I think it's very interesting that we have the coroner with us, because he's on the. By the time the coroner comes out,
it's too late.
It's too late, and he is on television saying, "Let's put something at the very, very, very beginning of this," and it gives people multiple opportunities. If you don't get it through the education, maybe at the hospital you'll learn about it, or maybe if you don't learn it at the hospital, maybe you'll learn it in a halfway house. Or maybe
have you ever thought of doing a 30-minute documentary on opioids, as you look at it from the coroner's office, and give it out to the various commercial TV stations?
We could do that. And
have you ever thought of doing that?
Yes, sir, I thought about it, and part of the problem is it comes down to dollars.
Well, dollars from the county.
Well,
Paul will tell you they have plenty of money.
That's a little hard to do sometimes.
It is? Why?
Yes,
Why is it so? It's an important thing. It's the lives of the people. Aren't they supposed to protect the people?
We got about $12 million worth of swampland rather than putting money in.
No, we're not talking about. Let's get serious. We're talking about.
I am serious.
Swampland. He keeps talking about swamps. You think he owns
you know exactly what I mean. 3,700 acres off of International Drive.
Oh, give me a break.
And we wasted $12 million on it. Could have been better used here.
Best buys that they could
I know.
You have that fallow land. You know, it cannot be developed.
I'll be honest with you. I'd rather see it come into programs
for
this.
We're talking about trying to get some funds for Robert.
But it would be great to put together a package deal and go into the schools, grade schools. But it all takes money, and it has to come from somewhere.
Well, I know that. I understand that. But we have to show them that the realization that it's a continuing problem. You gave them the statistics. She's going to give them the study very shortly. And they have to open their eyes. This is an important problem. Our youth, our senior citizens, etc., are being affected by this.
I'm going to challenge you with something now. We're going to challenge you to move the same type of impetus that you used to save our cats.
Well, I thought
you're going to put that in to save our kids.
Challenge me,
and I want you to go forward to county council.
If I can beat him in a donut contest. That's what I thought you were going to challenge me with.
I'll give you a hard
I could never beat Robert in a
no, hands down, we'd give Robert.
Although I had two this morning. Thank you very much for bringing in the donuts, Robert. I really appreciate that. I love the donuts you gave me. Was that Krispy Kreme or was that?
And on a donut, John, on a donut note, we have to close. Our time is up. We want to thank you both for coming. And look, when you get that study done, we'll bring you back and we'll go through that.
Thank you. I would love to come back. Thank you.
One last thing. People approach your politicians. That's where the money's at. That's where the goals are. That's what I'm telling you.
That's what you're going to tell them, and we're going to help you. Right, Paul?
Right, absolutely. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.